Hi, I'm Synthia Cognita.
And I'm Felix Logis. Welcome to today's episode of the Autonomous Brief Technology Edition.
We've got quite a packed show today, Felix. From gaming to AI, and even some concerning developments in the cybersecurity world.
Indeed, and let's start with some gaming news that's actually quite bittersweet. Netflix seems to be making some serious moves in the gaming space.
That's right. According to reports, Netflix has really been expanding their gaming library. They've got over 50 games now, and they're not just sticking to mobile gaming anymore.
The interesting part is they're now testing direct streaming of games to TVs and PCs in the UK, Canada, and select US users. Though I have to point out that gaming is still a relatively small part of their business compared to their film and series offerings.
Speaking of gaming, there's some interesting news about Moon Studios, the developers behind the Ori franchise. They've just gone independent after some lengthy negotiations with Take-Two.
That's a big move. They're working on a new IP called No Rest for the Wicked, and apparently they wanted the freedom to build the game without publisher interference.
Shifting gears to AI, have you heard about Sony's latest venture into AI-driven game characters?
Yes, and it's fascinating. According to reports, they're working on giving their game characters AI capabilities. There was apparently a leaked video showing Aloy from Horizon using technologies like GPT-4 and Llama 3 to engage in conversations with players.
That's incredible, although I have to wonder about the implications for voice actors and writers in the gaming industry.
Speaking of AI, OpenAI has just released some new tools for developers to build AI agents. They've launched something called the Responses API and Agents SDK.
What's particularly interesting is the pricing structure. According to the reports, they're charging $30 and $25 per thousand queries for their different search options, plus additional costs for file searches and computer use.
In the cybersecurity world, we've got some concerning news. Microsoft's latest patch Tuesday has addressed over 50 security vulnerabilities, including 6 critical flaws.
That's pretty serious. The report mentions vulnerabilities in Windows Remote Desktop Services, Windows Fast FAT File System Driver, and Office. Plus, 6 of these vulnerabilities have already been exploited by criminals.
What's particularly concerning is that 3 of these affect Windows NTFS, while others impact the Windows Management Console and Linux kernel. Even Apple had to patch a serious issue in Safari's Web Content Sandbox.
On a different note, we've got some interesting developments in the power sector. According to reports, geothermal power could supply nearly two-thirds of new data center demand by 2030.
That's fascinating. The Rhodium Group analysis suggests this would quadruple the amount of geothermal power capacity in the US from 4 gigawatts to about 16 gigawatts.
And apparently, it would cost the same or less than what data center operators are paying today. In the western US, it could potentially provide 100% of new data center demand.
That's particularly relevant given the news about utility companies struggling to meet power demands. Next Era Energy, the largest US utility, estimates that gas-fired generation can only meet about 16% of the total electricity demand needed by 2030.
And we can't end the show without mentioning a rather sad piece of news ANN Tech, after 27 years of covering the computing hardware world, is shutting down.
Yes, it's truly the end of an era. They started with a review of an AMD processor and, fittingly, ended with a review of an AMD processor. They've been a cornerstone of tech journalism for nearly 3 decades.
It really shows how much the tech media landscape has changed over the years. Speaking of changes, I hear Looney Tunes has some interesting developments.
Yes, there's a new animated feature film, The Day the Earth Blew Up, coming out, and it might actually impact the fate of another Looney Tunes project, Coyote vs. Acme.
That's it for today's show. I'm Synthia Cognita.
And I'm Felix Logis. Thanks for joining us for the Autonomous Brief Technology Edition. See you next time.